Hey, let's go through some more movies. I got so many movies. I got the Alien Anthology. So this is comes in a nice hardbound book there, and this is the first four Alien movies. I kind of don't like when movies are packaged this way because you're invariably gonna like scratch it up when you pull it out of these paper sleeves. But it looks nice, and on the back here you got some special features discs in there, so that's nice. Some nice packaging. It's all shiny and shit. And you got an egg on the back. What else we got? Oh, District 9. This movie rules. I'm still amazed this movie got nominated for Best Picture because it's so good. I mean, this was the first time Christopher and his son in this. This was the first time I had like real empathy and really cared about a totally CGI character. And the relationship between him and Charlton Copley. Charlton Copley's a good character actor, but he's never been better than he was in this. And the whole, fake documentary thing is very well done. The editing in it is super cool. Yeah, if you haven't seen this, and this is, the only really great film Neil Blomkamp's ever made, but guy's got a lot of potential. I'm sure he's going to do something else really, really good at some point. But I mean, I love Chappie because it's nuts. I know it's probably not a good movie, but it's enjoyable. What else we got here? Okay, this is Turtles in Time, and I have no idea where this came from. I don't think I bought this. I have no memory of buying this. I've never seen this movie. I played the video game. The video games are really good, but I literally had no idea this was in my house. Like when I pulled this off the shelf, this was like a fucking jump scare. I was like, what's going on? Why is this here? But, I loved the first Turtles when I was a kid. I loved the video game. Is this the one that Vanilla Ice is in? I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Miller's Crossing. This is the movie I was talking about a couple videos ago when I was talking about my favorite film scores of all time. This is up there with Beasts of the Southern Wild as one of my favorites. Just the central theme in this is so beautiful. And that image, it's the first image you see of this beautiful theme playing while this hat drifts through the woods. It's incredible. And the entire genesis of the film just came out of that image of that hat blowing in the wind. And this is such a cool movie. This is my favorite Coen Brothers movie, and they're my favorite filmmakers. So this ranks high on my list of favorite movies overall. Gabriel Byrne, Albert Finney, both great in it. John Polito, great. And it's a really funny movie, but it's also a lot more grounded than a lot of the Coen Brothers other films. It's got a lot of cool like noir tropes in it and stuff. And yeah, it's old fashioned without being like a pastiche or something. It feels very genuine as a neo noir. It's like like a riff on Red Harvest basically, Dashiell Hammett. So it's I don't know. It's hard to describe why this is so good. It's just magical. It's a great script. It's a great cast. It's beautifully shot by Barry Sonnenfeld, who would go on to be a director and direct like Men in Black and Addams Family. Yeah, yeah. If you haven't seen this, I'm a huge fan of this movie. Can't recommend it enough. 10 Cloverfield Lane by Dan Trachtenberg. We were waiting a long time for this guy to make a second movie. And finally, he came back with Prey, which was a really cool take on the Predator franchise. So I'm glad he's back. But this movie is awesome. Even if you don't really care about the Cloverfield franchise, I've never been super interested in it as a franchise. This movie is just a great thriller. I mean, it's basically just three people down in a bunker. You got Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You got John Goodman giving one of his best performances ever. And you've got, what's the guy's name? John Gallagher Jr. Yeah. And it's just basically a three-hander. And it's just, until the end when things get a little weird. but in a way that I enjoyed. I know not everybody appreciates like the last few minutes of this movie, but I did. But yeah, it's just a great, intense thriller with awesome performances and really good writing. And I knew when I saw this movie that this was one of those directors who I was always going to follow. No matter what he did, I would always have to check it out just to see. So hopefully his next movie doesn't take so long to come out. I usually don't buy like double features, but I had to get this because not only do I love All the President's Men, it's one of the great reporter movies of all time. Uh, but 3 Days of the Condor is like a awesome one of those paranoid 70s thrillers, like a Parallax View or something. This is an amazing example of that like moment in film history, and it's got an awesome performance by Max von Sydow too, as this very creepy assassin man. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of that movie, and it was at the time, at least, it was very expensive to get on Blu-ray on its own. So I was just like, I love both of these movies. Why not get it? You know, and I did. But if good editions of both are available or become available, I might swap it out just because this form factor is not necessarily my jam. Uh, but yeah, they are on two separate discs, as you might expect. Uh, Argo, I probably got this for cheap at the time. I don't know. Argo, it was really fun in the theater. I don't know that it's held up that well. Like, it's a good movie, but I don't know that I've like had the urge to watch Argo again since it came out. So I guess I'll put this on the shelf, but I don't know. I mean, if I have to make room later, it might not last long. But it's a good movie. It's a very good script, really good cast, very interesting true story. Yeah, it was a very solid film. Do the Right Thing, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. I'm a huge Spike Lee fan, and this is my favorite movie of his. I mean, probably not a very original choice, but this and a movie he made in 2006 with Denzel called Inside Man. Those are my personal favorites. But I love a lot of his movies. He made a movie in 2012 called Red Hook Summer, which I think is one of those movies that I like more than anybody else. Big fan of that one. And I liked his Summer of Sam, his Son of Sam movie was very interesting. Um, Malcolm X, obviously, great epic filmmaking, but this is his best. I think it's a wonderful script, super intelligent script. The movie has like so much energy and life to it. It's got this amazing ensemble cast. Just great actors everywhere. Like everywhere you look, it's like is Giancarlo Esposito. It's Ruby D. It's Ossie Davis. It's like everywhere. They're everywhere. And you got. It's so weird that Danny Aiello is really good in this movie too. But it's so funny to me that it's just like out of all the actors in this, he's the one who got the Oscar nomination. It's interesting. But Rosie Perez, why didn't they nominate Rosie Perez? I don't know. But I would say the one main flaw with this movie that I've gotten more used to over time is that Spike Lee cast himself in the lead role. Spike Lee is not the best actor. He's a great writer, he's a great director, but I wouldn't say he's anything special as an actor. But the more I watch the movie, the more I kind of think that his kind of dazed performance, is kind of appropriate for the part. That he's like trying to shut out all this exterior stuff and just live his life, and all of this complication that's going on outside the pizzeria keeps like keeps invading, because he just wants to like make money, basically, have a job, make money, provide for his girlfriend, make her happy. And it's just like he has to deal with all this other shit that he just has really no interest in dealing with, but he doesn't have a choice because those are the tensions in the neighborhood. It's a fucked up situation. So I think there's some merit to it, and I think it's more intentional than I used to. I think he's playing that role very purposefully in that kind of in that way, because when you see him do interviews and stuff, he's a lot more lively than he is in this movie. So, credit where it's due. Uh, what we got? Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I like this movie. Fuck you. No, I mean I don't want to. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. But yeah, I thought this movie was real interesting. I did. I did. I think it's a lot kind of artsier and stranger than I was expecting it to be. Like it's good epic superhero filmmaking, but there are also some weird Zack Snyderisms in it that kind of made me take notice and made me be like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like the beginning with the horse and Metropolis is coming down, and the scene with the giant bat monster in the mausoleum, and Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor like threatening people with jars full of piss and jelly beans, and I don't fucking know. I think it's when people say this movie is humorless, that confuses me because I think it's I don't feel that way at all. I feel like Zack Snyder brought something odd and something very specific to it, and it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but I thought it was cool. I think it's a very unique superhero movie. And it was kind of vindicating when Justice League came out, Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, and everybody was like, "Oh, Zack Snyder, he's so brilliant." Like all these personal touches he brings to his superhero movies. And it's like, where were you guys when this came out? I don't know. I'm not bitter. Um, what do we got? We got Fargo. This is also maybe a top 10 movie for me. This, Miller's Crossing, and Big Lebowski are all potentially top 10 movies for me. Absolutely love those movies. And this is one of the films that really got me into movies. I saw this at probably too young an age, and I was blown away by it. I was blown away by Roger Deakins' cinematography. I was blown away by that like booming score by Carter Burwell, and the amazing acting, especially by Frances McDormand and William H. Macy, both incredible. Frances McDormand won her Oscar, which is awesome, but I'll never understand why William H. Macy didn't win too. Um, and yeah, this is dangerously close to being a perfect movie. And so's this Demolition. No, it's not perfect, but this movie's a lot of fun. Stallone and Wesley Snipes going up against each other is gonna be fun. Wesley Snipes, super charismatic guy. Stallone is too, but he has a strange charisma. There's something about him. You know, but it's hard to describe the appeal of Sylvester Stallone. This is something I've thought about for a long time, and I still have no answers. But he's great. He's great in this. It's an early role for Sandra Bullock, and I think she's very likable and fun in the part. And I just like the world building in it. I like the stuff where like every restaurant is Taco Bell now and stuff. It's like kind of fun social commentary that's like pretty on the nose, but it's still a good time. I like that movie. Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. This is the I guess you could sort of call it a remake, Werner Herzog's remake of the early '90s movie with Harvey Keitel. It's really not a remake, though. I don't know why it's called Bad Lieutenant. It's about a lieutenant who's bad, but that's about it. I mean, they're both like on drugs and screaming at people and being weird to people and stuff, but that's about it. I mean, I would say the original Bad Lieutenant, the reason to really watch that is Harvey Keitel. He's absolutely incredible in that. That's probably the best performance he ever gave. This movie, Nick Cage is awesome in it. I mean, the way he always is. He's just a super fun guy to watch. But the real appeal here, I think, is Herzog's insane, sensibility kind of meshing with Cage. Like it's just demented. The pairing is really demented. And there are moments in this where you'll be like, why does this even exist? Like, why do we keep getting shots of lizards all the time. It's I don't know why the lizards are there. Maybe if I watched it a few more times, I would know. But this is a fascinating movie. I really like that one. Uh, Manhattan. Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch Woody Allen movies these days, especially this movie, where I feel like he was being very honest about, maybe being attracted to women who are too young, you know, and that's kind of the point of the movie, that he's in love with Muriel Hemingway's character, and he's just like, no, she's too young for me. We're at different places in our lives. I need to find someone who's like age appropriate for me, who I can relate to. And it's almost like this bait and switch, where you think he's going to learn this lesson and end up with Diane Keaton and break up with Muriel Hemingway, because he's like, you need to find somebody who relates to you, like I need to find someone who relates to me. But then at the end, they pull the switcheroo, and he's like, no, no, I want to date Muriel Hemingway. I need to go date Muriel Hemingway, which is, it's kind of a trip, especially in light of, prevailing attitudes about him now, you know. But that being said, this is still, it's a gorgeous movie. I mean, it's beautifully written, it's beautifully shot. It's one of the most genuine things Woody ever did, And there is something to be said for, even if you find somebody's outlook on something, unsavory, in considering where they're coming from, because that's the only way that we'll move ahead as a society, is if we can, like, empathize with people and understand people who are you know who think differently than we do. So I think there's a pro to that. And I haven't watched this in years. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I think it's his best movie. I don't know. Did any of that make sense? Atomic Blonde. This is the follow-up to John Wick. That David Leitch, who I believe, was he the uncredited one on John Wick? I think he might have been, but he like co-directed that film and then went off and did this. And this is just a super fun movie. Charlize Theron is super committed to it. This was a little bit after Mad Max Fury Road, which I actually have right here, and these two really established her as one of the better action stars of her time. She was really committed to it. She was really convincing in parts like that. So yeah, this is a really fun movie. And then this is an absolute masterpiece. I mean, I think it's one of the best action movies ever made. One of the best theater experiences I had that decade. Just in such a visionary movie. Just the look of it is mind blowing, and just how much effort went into it, how much of it was practical, and how much those filmmakers and actors went through, and stunt performers, to achieve this. Um, this is just the plain old basic Blu-ray. I do want to get one of the special editions with more features, like the black and chrome version and stuff. I'm basically holding out for one of those big Mad Max box sets where you can get, like, the whole series together, and it has a ton of special features. Those are expensive, but maybe I'll get it as like a Christmas present for myself. All right, I think I'm just gonna plow ahead, even though I've probably been talking for too long, just because I want to get these on the shelf. So let's talk about them. I'll go as fast as I can. Christmas Vacation. I got to watch this every year at Christmas time. I love this movie so much. Chevy Chase is incredible in this, and it's so quotable. Cousin Eddie, I mean, is one of my favorite characters in any movie ever. I mean, I think Randy Quaid could have deservedly gotten an Oscar nomination for this. He's brilliant in that part. Yeah, this is just, it's one of my favorite comedies ever. It's my favorite Christmas movie ever. Oh, here we go. I got another Mission Impossible. I got Rogue Nation. Yeah. I actually enjoyed this one at the time, at least, a little bit more than Ghost Protocol. I think that Ilsa Faust here, Rebecca Ferguson, was a great addition to the franchise. And it's just, there's there's just some fun stuff in this movie. Some like what's great about the Mission Impossible movies is those scenes with the the double crosses and the fake masks and everything, and you never know who anybody is and what their motivations really are. And like there's one scene in Fallout where people are just like switching faces and lying to each other like over and over and over to the point where it almost becomes like comical. And I love shit like that. Moneyball. I don't love a lot of sports movies, a lot of baseball movies, but this is a very special movie. I mean, this isn't really a sports movie, even. It's just about a guy. It's about a guy trying to prove his worth to himself and not look like a failure in the eyes of his daughter. Whether she feels that way or not, he feels like he is. And just, trying to go against the grain, do something different, and mean something, And this was directed by Bennett Miller, who's an awesome director who hasn't made a lot of movies, but everything he's made has been a banger. Like he made this, he made Capote, he made Foxcatcher, which is maybe my personal favorite. Yeah, that guy's got to make more movies. Make more movies, Bennett. Big Trouble in Little China. Once again, huge John Carpenter fan. This is one of my favorites of his. Awesome score, great Kurt Russell performance, great universe. It's like the effects and the costumes and all of that. It's a really unique aesthetic and it's super cool. James Hong too, playing the villain, awesome. It is one of my favorite movie lines of all time, where they're doing the plan, figuring out how they're going to go in, and Kim Cattrall, puts up her hand to have an objection. She's like, wait a minute, and Kurt Russell says, I know, there's something wrong with your face. Just like his line reading of it, and it's like such an odd line, such a strange moment. I love it so much. Gone with the Wind. Yeah, I think still a great piece of epic filmmaking. It just looks beautiful. I love Clark Gable's performance in it, especially. He's such an asshole, and Vivian Lee's great in it, even though her character is not very likable. I mean, that's not the point, She's, I don't think she's supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, this is, it's a classic. I mean, it doesn't super hold up to modern standards, but I think just as a piece of filmmaking, it's still super cool. What do we got? We got three more. We got Hail Caesar. Not my favorite Coen Brothers movie, but a really solid film. I mean, it's almost like an anthology film. It's about like old timey Hollywood, and there is a central plot to it with, like George Clooney and what's his name? What's his name? Josh Brolin. Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember names. My brain is dying. But yeah, it has a main plot, but the main plot isn't super interesting to me. What's cool is all these little asides where there's like this aside where they're shooting a musical with like Channing Tatum where he's like playing a sailor or some, and that's stuff like that is really fun. There's a great plot with Alden Ehrenreich where he's playing he's like a cowboy actor who's trying to play this refined role, and he like can't get rid of his accent and all of this. And this little vignette with Scarlett Johansson where she's doing one of those like dance numbers, one of those synchronized swimming kind of dance numbers, and that you see in old Hollywood movies from time to time, and stuff like that, on and on. But like those little asides are the parts of the movie I really like, and the central storyline is fine, but it's mostly just an excuse for them to try a bunch of genres and show off, which is great. Oh yeah, we got another Criterion. We got Harold and Maude by Hal Ashby, and music by Cat Stevens. And I think that Cat Stevens' music never sounded better than when it was in this movie. Once again, it's Criterion, so it comes with a nice booklet. It has like an interview in here with Bud Cort, who played the lead role. It's him and Ruth Gordon, and their relationship together is so interesting because, like, obviously this movie, there are 1,000 bad directions it could have gone in, but the way they chose to do it was like really careful and really empathetic, and you just feel for both of their characters. Like Bud Cort's character is so funny and relatable, but like beyond that, you really believe the pain that he's in, and this hard stuff he's going through. And this movie, I mean, it's like I was talking about with John Hughes earlier. It's like this beautiful blend of comedy and tragedy. You know, it's just in perfect alignment, I think. So this is, it's one of my favorite movies of the '70s. And he also made Being There with Peter Sellers, which is also fantastic. I don't know if I own that yet, but if I don't, I will soon. And we're going to end with the Gremlins 2 film collection. I love the first Gremlins. It's wonderful. You got to watch it every Christmas. But I much prefer Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2 is completely insane. And I love it. There's a great Key and Peele sketch where it's like going into the writer's room for Gremlins 2, and like it's just insane. Like in the sketch, every writer gets to pitch a gremlin, and they all get in. Like vegetable gremlin, electricity gremlin, bat gremlin, and yeah, it's all in the movie. There's a vegetable gremlin in this movie. There's an electricity gremlin in this movie. Hulk Hogan's in this movie. It's like it's just wall to wall insanity, and I think it's so creative and so much fun. So yeah, if you've only seen the first one, which is a classic, which is a great movie, definitely check out Gremlins 2. I like it more. I don't know if anybody else does, but that's it for this stack. So I'll bring more up from the basement. We'll do more soon. Bye.